What's going on, Faux Reelers? Back with another Ross report. Week 2 into week 3. Fun week. Real fun week for some. Not so much for others. Um, let's pop right in. Take a look at last week. We'll look at next week, and then we'll wrap up with some of my picks. All right, so let's fuck it. Let's start in the north. The first game coming up here was we had Mike and Phil. Mike was Yahoo had Mike as the favorite. Taking a look at the matchup here, Anthony Richardson didn't do much. So you thought Mike had a chance there. Burrow played better than week 1. I mean, he actually threw a touchdown pass, which helps. St. Brown gave Mike some points. Pacheco played well, but he's injured, so that's another thing that Mike's gonna have to deal with. But J.K. Dobbins for Phil though, back-to-back weeks. I think obviously JK's a bigger surprise than say Alvin Kamara, just because Alvin Kamara has been RB1 before. Dobbins couldn't stay healthy. His issues has never been talent; it's just been health. So they got a healthy JK with a coach that loves to run. So I think JK, if he stays healthy, is going to be huge for Phil all year. Let's see what else do we have here. Both got decent numbers from their defense. Overall, though, Phil took the win. One by nearly 30, and the biggest discrepancy, big win, big game for DK Metcalf. Mike Evans really didn't show up, and Mike's still starting Jerome Ford, which you kind of have to do. But Mike, I'll tell you, just they don't like him, they hate him. He played pretty well last year. He don't have the best vision. He dances a little bit too much for me, but I don't think he's bad. But I think Dante Foreman got more carries than him last week. And I saw Pierre Strong, who's fucking awful on the field a lot. So I think Strong might have left with an injury, but I don't think he's out. So that's something else to look for, is that they're really sharing it with three backs, which I don't understand. But, Mike kind of has to start him. You don't have a choice. Looking at Mike's roster, he has no other running backs, to be honest with you. So, which is why Mike's going to struggle the next couple weeks. But overall, Phil, damn near a 30 clap to take the win. All right, staying up in the north, we had Eric and Al, which, again, going to the game, Yahoo liked Eric, which tells me Yahoo don't pay attention, because maybe they don't realize it's Eric, because he's got that cool ass terror squad name. That can't possibly be Eric. That name's way too cool. But it is Eric, and he got fucking clapped again, as usual. Al put up 150. And then Al did something. I don't know if it's crazy. I tried to make a move for him, too. I tried to pick up Kareem Hunt, but Al spent $22 on him in week 2, which, looking at his roster, I see why he did it. He don't have a lot of number 1 running backs, or a lot of good number 1 running backs. He does have Saquon and A-Chain, which should be enough. But when one of those guys are on a bye, or another injury, which is what this whole year's been about so far, I can see making a move for Hunt, but I thought 22 was a little excessive. I'd like to see how much everyone bid. I think I might have put in $5 or something. I was good picking up Dante Foreman for almost nothing, because I think he's going to keep taking carries away from Jerome Ford, at least for the next 2 or 3 weeks until Chubb comes back. But overall, looking at the matchup, Kyler Murray, I had him on my team 2 years ago, and I fucking despised him. He's not playing that way this year. He's running around. He's got Maserati Marv, which we'll talk about here in a second when we talk about Paul's game. So I think Kyler's going to continue to put up good points, which, for the North might be a problem, because if you look at Al's roster, it's not the best, but he's got Garrett Wilson playing in the flex. If he can get a whole year out of A-Chain healthy, Al's team in the North might be tough to deal with. Eric's definitely won't be. And then the last game of the South was Jeff and Paul, which the score looks way close. It wasn't a close game. Jeff won by, almost 40, but it really wasn't that close. It was about a 70-point blowout. Paul's got the worst team I've ever seen in fantasy this year. He'll send some gif about me sucking dick, but his team's fucking awful. It's awful. That's what happens when you take a running back to like round 7. Oh, but I got Ty G. Spears. Okay, well, that's why you put up like 40 points a game. Your team is atrocious. He did, however, get 27 from Maserati Marv, 21 in the first quarter. So He'll still get points from Marv, but his team is just so bad top to bottom. It's not going to matter. Paul's basically a bye week for everyone this year. Looking at Jeff's team, Baker showed up again. A little less than last week. He put up just under 22 points, but I think that's going to be kind of the where you'll see Baker every week in the 20 to 23 range. Every now and then he'll pop you for 35, but on average he'll have 20 to 22. CD showed up. Him and Dak finally connected on one. Dak overall has been playing not great, but glad to see him and CD start to connect. Big points from Zay Flowers for Jeff. It was a pretty good keeper for him in the 9th round. Overall, pretty good. And then James Cook had a huge game. Basically, if you just take away Marv, that leaves Paul with 47 points. Jeff beats him with James Cook, Baker, and San Fran's D by 5. So with just those 3 plays, he would have beat Paul's team by 5. So if you take away Marv, and if you don't, you still lose by almost 40, and you had a receiver give you damn near 30. Just looking at Paul's bench, he did have Will Levis on his bench, which I know that was his keeper pick, which we can all laugh about. We all laughed about it at the draft. We're all laughing about it now. Not sure Paul's laughing, but it might turn into where it's like an angry laugh. Paul has a good angry laugh, so hope to hear that soon. But Will Levis was the highest scorer on his bench with 14. But looking at his bench, it makes sense because his team's awful, but like the best player on his bench by a lot is probably Gus Edwards, maybe. And so, anyways, so Jeff, we knew going in was going to smack him. Again, Yahoo, just don't pay attention. They had Paul's the favorite, but we all knew it wasn't going to be close, and it wasn't. All right, let's hop down to the South. We'll start with the defending champ, Daryl, and Tim. Niall, I guess, but it's really Tim. It's embarrassing. It's sad. Sometimes it's like I want to talk shit, but I just kind of feel bad for him overall. Now that is, I kind of feel bad for Tim for having to put up with this nonsense of a grown fucking man in his 40s asking, what should I do here? I have 9 players to choose from. Which 9 should I pick? So I just feel bad for all parties involved. It's not fun. But they picked up a dub, 2-0, which, considering that, Josh Allen really didn't do shit, put up less than 12. Niall should have lost this game. Tim and Niall should have lost this game. But again, their best player consistently so far this year has been their kicker, and that's not a knock. That's not a shot. Fairbairn's put up like fucking 20 points both games. Mason fills in well that's a system with San Fran, so whoever you have there is going to be fine. Obviously, wasting your number 1 pick on a guy that might not play for another 4 or 5 weeks sucks, but in that system, the handcuff's going to be enough to keep you in games. But the real story on the other side was that Daryl's team had every opportunity to beat him, and it just, he lost by 2 points. CJ only gave you 16, which is disappointing. Only got a 1.5 from Tank Dell. So just little things that, I'm sure Daryl was just fucking, not that he has hair to pull out, but if he did, he'd be watching those games, especially the Bears, the Sunday night game with the Bears and Texans. If he had hair left, I'm sure he pulled it out of his beard. He would have pulled his hair out because there were so many opportunities for him to take that win, and it just didn't happen. All right, next one in the South here is the who gives a shit game. It's Hubba and Strauzer. Hubba's team putting up solid points. Again, he plays Strauzer. Going in, Hubba was favored by 11, ended up winning by about 11, so Yahoo about nailed this. Looking at the matchups, Lamar and Mahomes was basically a wash, 18, 19 points. That's a wash when you're playing against Mahomes, especially in a game like the Bengals game where you expect him to throw a lot and score a ton of points. Him getting a wash there was huge for Hubba. Olave showed back up, didn't do shit week 1, played really well week 2. The Saints offense in general looked fantastic the last 2 weeks, which is good for me. Bijan played well. That was a good one for him. But his kicker, he's got the fucking Dallas kicker who apparently can kick from 70 yards. He got 17 points from the kicker, 15 points from Montgomery on on Strausser's side, his team, I mean, it's not as bad as Paul's, but overall his team's pretty terrible. I mean, Jonathan Taylor's there, but you don't even notice. I mean, 15 points is good for running back, but because of the way they play with Anthony Richardson, he probably should be putting up 25 a game because Anthony Richardson is not great. But the way they're running the offense is taking touches away from Taylor, which is just going to – I mean, I don't think Strausser makes the playoffs this year. So his bench is even worse. I mean, I'm looking at his bench. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players on his bench scored exactly 0 points. Exactly 0 points. Caleb Williams was the leading scorer from his bench with 9 points. That's his keeper. Can't wait for that. So Hub moves on. Got a big win. So good for Hub. Strausser, keep swimming, buddy. I can't wait to play you. And then the last game in the South was myself and Tyler. So it was a weird week for me. The Buckeye bye week early never happens, and in bye weeks in general, and the Buckeyes have another bye in a few weeks, which is just weird. It makes Saturday kind of empty. So I always look for the illustrious, the hard to come by as a Browns fan, the triple Yabo, which is a Buckeye win, a Brown win, and a fantasy win. So unfortunately, because the Buckeyes bye, I don't get the triple Yabo. I did get the double Yabo, but because I beat Tyler by 50, it's actually a double Yabo Supreme. So hit Tyler with the double Yabo Supreme. It was ugly. The game was over in the first half of the Saints game. I mean, Alvin Kamara's RB1 this year. There's no doubt about it if he stays healthy. The way they're running him, catching out of the backfield, Kamara is going to be he's going to be RB1 if he stays healthy. No doubt in my mind about that. Kamara put up 43, which, by the way, I would have lost to Paul if you took away Maserati Marv and I only had Kamara. I think Paul beats me 47-43. It's a close one, Paul, but you got me there. But overall, my team, I got a solid team top to bottom. Prescott's not playing well. I'm still able to win. I should have won last week. A kicker and a fucking defense killed me, but overall, my team played good. Cooper actually this is the second week in a row, 2 weeks in a row. And Watson don't throw a lot of good passes. We can all agree on that. He dropped 2 touchdowns in back-to-back weeks. So Cooper's not doing shit. I want to blame fucking Deshaun Diddy. But the fact is that Cooper dropped 2 touchdown passes. One actually in the end zone, and then last week it was at about the 8-yard line, and he would have fucking walked in. If that happens, my team in every spot is putting up double digits. Brock Bowers, I've got some folks wanting to reach out to trade for him. I love Njoku, but Bowers, I think I got in the 14th round, so that's going to be my keeper. I think Bowers is going to keep putting up, 10 to 14 points a game. Laporta's down. Kelsey's old, so I think there's a reasonable chance that Brock Bowers is tight end 1 at the end of the year. So I was happy to get him late and happy to be able to keep him. And then my other, kind of my flex, I've been playing that third running back is Ramadre. I got him a little earlier than I probably should have, but I didn't want to be Paul, which is instead of having one good running back, Paul has none running backs, exactly none. I have 3 legit number 1 running backs. Being able to play a guy in the flex that's going to get you 60, 70 yards on the ground, 5 or 6 catches for 30 yards and at least a touchdown, that's huge in the flex. That's more consistent. I know a lot of folks play wide receivers in flex, and it's boom or bust. They're either going to have a big game or they're going to not. I love being able to put Ramadre in there and just be steady Eddie, 15, 16 points a week. That's a great number to get every week consistently in your flex. So that was another great pick by me. The overall arching story here is that I'm so much better at fantasy football than Tyler that it's not even worth talking about his team. I can look at it, and then I look at my guy scoring 43, and I realize, is it really worth talking to Tyler about Matt Stafford, who put up 6 points? And he was so excited. I got Matt Stafford. It's Matt Stafford. Yeah, you got him. It's 6.5 points. Why are we talking about Matt Stafford? So I don't want to waste everyone's time. The good news for Tyler, though, is Jefferson is playing or practicing, so he may play. Maybe they hold him out this week, but it doesn't look serious. I do think I saw they're going to put Kupp on IR for 4 weeks. So, Tyler's having a tough year. It's not going to get any better. Him and Strawser are going to be battling for last place in the South. They're both going to be better than Paul, which I guess is the silver lining, Tyler. You know, as your father, I love you. I hope that you have some joy in knowing that you're not Paul, but you also got to know you're not me. And I think games like this show it. It's consistent damn near every year. I beat you most times. We split sometimes, but when I do beat you, it's not like I beat you by 3. I fucking destroy you, which is, 60 points, 60 fucking points. Maybe I should be embarrassed. Maybe I shouldn't bring up the fact that my son got clapped by 60. Yeah, well, again, looking at his team, and his team shouldn't be that bad. Well, maybe it should. Maybe, no. I mean, he'd love Raheem Mostert too, but he's hurt. So, Tyler's only chance, honestly, of making the playoffs is he's got to hope that Xavier Worthy becomes number 1 over Rashid Rice, so he can get some points there. And he's got to hope that OG Chubb shows up in week 4 or 5. If he shows up in week 5, I plan on being there in the Commanders game. If Nick Chubb plays that game, there is a decent chance someone throws a bottle of beer at me because I will be so fucking pumped in DC. I will be a complete asshole, which I think we all agree is not unreasonable for you to assume that I'll act that way. But if Chubb shows up in week 5 and it's OG Chubb, I'll be unfucking bearable. But that's what Tyler needs. Tyler needs his long shot to pay off. He needs Chubb to come back healthy. He needs Stefanski to be smart, which I know he went to Brown, but he's a fucking idiot. I mean, he's literally a fucking idiot. I'm smarter than him. There's no doubt in my mind. I'm fucking smarter than Kevin Stefanski. Chubb's going to come back. Here's what's going to happen. Here's the Stefanski factor. Chubb will come back, and they're going to be like, all right, we're not going to start him, because we want his first start to be in Cleveland. This is if he plays in D.C., but they will play him. Chubb will come out. He'll hit you for 8 yards. Everybody will go crazy. Even the DC fans are going to be excited to see Chubb hit you for 8 yards. Next play, they're going to run a bullshit fucking screen. It's going to be fucking 3rd and 3. And then everyone in the stadium knows Chubb's going to get the ball, but he's not. Stefanski's going to run a fucking rollout with Deshaun Watson. He's going to throw it 6 yards out of bounds. And that's what Chubb's going to be for the first 2 or 3 weeks. They're not going to use him the way they should. They really didn't do it when he was playing healthy. He should get the ball 75% of the time when your quarterback's Deshaun Watson. But that's not what Stefanski does. He's smarter than all you. He's unconventional. He's gonna do analytics. On fucking 3rd and 8. No one's gonna expect you to throw a 3-yard slant. Wrong. I expect it because you do it every fucking week. Oh, it's 4th and goal. From the 1. You got Watson, who's supposed to be running quarterback. You got Jameis Winston, who's a running quarterback. This fucking guy does shit like, you know what? We're going to do a rollout to Deshaun Watson's left. He's right-handed. All the chicks know he's right-handed. He rolls to the left, and he can't throw across his body anymore because he's not good. And then guess what? Now we can't kick a field goal because we're fucking playing from behind because our coach is an idiot. So that's what Tyler really has to worry about is Chubb coming back healthy and the Stefanski factor, which is a real thing. So that was the wrap up here. Let's look at next week real quick. I got a little wordsy there, so let's just pop into week 3. I'll make it quick. I'm going to clap Hubba. So there's that. Yahoo agrees, by the way. I'm favored to win 114 and 109. Kamara's gonna fuck again, and I'll beat Hub by 18. I'll take Hub by 18. Let's see. Who else we got? Also in the South, you got Strawser and Daryl. I only got to look. Daryl's going to win. Yahoo thinks it's going to be close. They have Daryl favored by 7. Mahomes plays Atlanta, which their defense is actually quietly pretty good. Their secondary especially. So, Yahoo says 7. I think it's closer to 15. Let's see what else we got here. In the North here, we got Jeff Rowe and Al. Need a big game from Jeff Rowe. He is favored by 1 currently. Looking at the matchups, it's Fugazi because they think that Anthony Richardson's going to score more than Baker against Denver. Not a shot at Jeff, but it's not. Baker's gonna ball out. Anthony Richardson playing Chicago's D, which is pretty solid. So, that right there alone, that 1 point difference is going to grow because I think Baker puts up 25 to 30, and I think Richardson is in that 15 range. So right there is going to be the bigger jump in the points. Otherwise, the matchups are pretty good. Metcalf and Lamb, Flowers and Reed. I do like Gibbs over White, but the way they're using James Cook, I'll take Cook over NTN. And by the way, the Jaguars are fucking trash. So I will take Jeff. Which I think some would say is an upset. Yahoo disagrees. I agree with Yahoo, but I don't think it's going to be a 1 point game. I think Jeff wins by double digits. All right, next game here. Now, again, Tyler's struggling. Now he's got to play Niall and Tim, which, I mean, he's going to lose. We all know that. The matchups aren't great. I mean, Tyler... he's moving off Matt Stafford. He's putting in Derek Carr, which it's probably a better play because you drafted Stafford, which was dumb. It was a horrible decision. But at least you're not just gonna like me. I don't love that I took Dak. He's played like shit, but I'm riding with it. I made my choice, whether it sucks or not. I'm gonna ride with it. Tyler's like, fuck it. I made a horrible decision. I'm gonna pull the ripcord and just jump and put in Carr, which is good. But overall, Niles' team is just better, top to bottom. It looks like Tyler is starting Xavier Worthy. But I think where Tyler has a chance is as it sits, now starting Chase Steele, which, I know he's the number one. He's white, and he's not Peyton Hillis. He's not white and jacked like Peyton Hillis. So I think that's going to hurt. So Tyler, it'll be closer. I'd like to see Tyler win. What's going to hurt Tyler is when he gets this fucking goofy ass text from Niall about, oh, we kicked your ass. What the fuck is fan? I mean, but I had to put up with it, so now Tyler does too. So it is what it is. But looking at the matchups, Tyler has a chance, but I will take Niall. I think Mason is just a good. With the Rams, it matches up well with the Rams. I like Mason to continue to put up big numbers, and I think that Josh Allen against Jacksonville on Monday night, he's going to have a big game. Jacksonville's, they got beat by the Browns. They're not good. So I think Josh Allen will put up 30 plus, and that'll be enough to beat Tyler. Then you got Al and Mike. Another close game according to Yahoo. They're predicting Mike to win 105-104. Now Mike was the favorite last week and lost, so that's what's going to happen this week as well. Kyler Murray against Detroit. I don't love that matchup. Detroit's defense is pretty solid, but Burrow's playing the Commanders. So in theory, Burrow should ball out. But I've been saying it for years, and it's not just because I'm a Browns fan. I think Burrow's average. He's very average when he's healthy. So it wouldn't surprise me if Kyler outscored him. Looking at the other matchups, I do love St. Brown for Mike over Nico Collins. I do like Mike Evans over Devontae Smith. The Eagles just have too many different weapons, although, Smith got the touchdown last week. But Al's also running with Barkley, so you're splitting your guys, which I never love. So who else we got? You know what? I hate to do it. I really hate to do it. But I'm actually going to take Mike. I think Mike beats him. I think it's going to be close. But I do think Mike pulls it out. I don't love splitting Devontae and Saquon, and then they have AJ. Collins is dinged up. So I think Mike Evans has a big game because Baker's in Denver. So, or he's playing Denver. Mike, I hope Jerome Ford gets that tutty for you. If Jerome Ford gets a touchdown, even if it's under 10 carries, if Ford can give him 8 to 9 points, I think he's got enough to beat Al this week. And then the last game of the week, which is really the game of the week, not week. It's WEAK because both teams are awful. You got Paul and Eric, the brothers. So a little Bubby action. I don't got to look at this. Eric's going to win, which is unfortunate for everybody. But it's even more unfortunate for Paul because he knows he's going to lose. Yahoo has Eric as a 9-point favorite. Paul needs Jamar. Did I just do a racism? He needs Jamar Chase to have a big game. He won't. Jamar Chase is angry and bitter, and I told you his quarterback's average. You roll double coverage that way. I don't think Jamar has a big game. I think it's in his head at this point. Paul needs another huge game for Maserati, but looking at the matchups top to bottom, Paul's got the worst team in the league by a lot. Eric's probably going to win by 2 touchdowns. I'll say 15. So I think Terra Squad picks it up. Paul continues his slide to 0-3, and we will all enjoy it very much. So that was week 2 and week 3. Let's talk about some betting just real quick. So Mandy's 6-pack. Week 1 she did really well. Week 2 she did really horrible, which is going to probably be the standard. She was 1-5 last week, or this last week. So for the season she's 6-6. I do have her picks for this week. Let me see here. So Mandy's 6-pack. These are all money again, all money line. She's rolling with the Seahawks, Chiefs, Niners, Colts, Lions, and Bills. So if you want to lose money, bet the way she bets. My daughter wants in on the action too, so she's going to do 3 picks. I shouldn't open my fucking mouth about how fun the parlays are, because now my daughter wants to do it too, and it all comes out of my fucking pocket. And they're not going to win, so it's not like they'll win and I'll keep the winnings. I'm not. I'm just going to keep donating. But my lock of the week, it's no surprise. It's a little harder for me to pick this week. I do think the Browns cover. I just watched the Giants game. Their offense is bad. Our defense is good. It's at home with the Browns. The Browns are 5.5-point favorites. I think they win by more than 7. So if you want to tease that up to get your payout, the Browns will probably win something like 16-6. We'll put up a touchdown. Hopefully your mic is Jerome Ford. For me, I hope it's Cooper. But it'll probably be Deshaun Watson or Jameis Winston doing a quarterback sneak. And we'll put up 3 field goals, and our defense will show up. So 16-6. So tease that up, that 5.5 up to about 9. Get you a higher payout, and that'll be your lock. And then for the parlay, the tailgate parlay, there are some great games this week. It's weird that Fox is going to be there at big noon against Marshall when there are significantly better college football games to be to. USC Michigan for one. In the Big Ten is huge. You also got Illinois and Nebraska, both ranked. That'd be a great game for them to go to, but they're with us Saturday. But tailgate parlay, a lot of good games this week, so it should be fun. If I'm looking at my thing here now, I don't want to make this pick because I want Nebraska to be undefeated when they come to Columbus in a few weeks because it'll be a fun game. But they're an 8-point favorite with Illinois and old fucking fat Bielema. I think the line I cover. I think Nebraska wins, but 8 points is a lot. So as of right now, I'm leaning towards that being my pick for the tailgate parlay. So, yeah. So a lot of fun games this Saturday. Those that participate in the tailgate parlay, start looking at your shit. The last 2 weeks, we wait till the last minute and the odds change. I lose 1.5 points here or a point there. Let's not do that. Let's look at the shit. And let's make our picks like Friday so we can get the best odds. So that is it for the week 2-3 swing. Enjoy football this week. Should be some good games. And, I clap Tyler and Paul's awful. Until next week, keep it faux real, faux life.